Speaking with Guy TV9 on Tuesday, Kayla King shared her story as she prepares to represent Guyana at the Miss Cosmo International pageant in Vietnam this December. Her goal, she says, is not only to bring home the crown but to inspire others living with similar challenges.
This competition, I really feel that there's a need for me to be true to myself, being authentically who I am. And by doing that, I really believe that my authenticity and my mission will radiate outwardly to those women who are also autistic or otherwise neurodiverse, so that they can also see that there's so much more than just a diagnosis. They're not limited by any barriers that society or diagnosis poses for them, but they're really the author of their own story and they're completely in control of how they write it.
At 23, King reflected her journey to understanding herself. Growing up, she often struggled with social interaction and communication, finding it hard to make friends or read social cues. Her curiosity led her to study psychology, where she began recognizing patterns that match her own experiences. It was during her studies that she began to notice a correlation between the symptoms of autism and her own experiences.
I always felt a stark difference between myself and so many others around me. The best way I think I can describe it is by saying that I always felt like everyone else was given a handbook on how to socialize and I was left out of the narrative. And so maneuvering life in that way was a bit of a challenge for me, and it's actually what motivated me to start doing my research as it relates to psychology, and in hopes that I could one day figure out just what is so different about me, what's really going on. And that's how today my love or my aim to figure out what was going on with me has now been morphed into a love and a passion for psychology.
It was only last year that King sought an official diagnosis. After visiting a psychologist, her suspicions were confirmed. But instead of discouragement, she embraced the diagnosis as a source of strength and empowerment.
And when I reached out to a psychologist, I explained my background in psychology as well as my suspicions, and we had a psychological evaluation done, and I was diagnosed officially with autism spectrum disorder.
With the countdown to international competition now underway, King says what excites her most is the chance to represent Guyana proudly on the world stage.
What I really want to do is to embody the true Guyanese warmth, our charisma, and our diversity on the international stage. And I'm really hoping that my representation is an inspiration enough to inspire the people watching all around the world to visit Guyana and see the splendor that we have to offer.
She also offered this message to young women everywhere.
Absolutely. You know, today social media is on the rise, and so we're all posting the absolute best parts of ourselves on social media. And so many young women today, they believe that they need to fit into the narrative and they need to fit this idea of perfection that they see on social media. But to every young woman watching this, I just want to encourage you to remain true to yourself, to stay rooted into your authenticity, and not be so preoccupied with what's on the outside, but understand that your beauty goes skin deep, and it's about who you are at your core, the values that you possess, your compassion, and the way that you treat others. So allow your beauty to radiate from within outwardly, and that's really the true representation of who you are.
Miss Cosmo is an annual international beauty pageant that champions cultural representation and advocacy under the theme Impactful Beauty. Adana Dorek, Guyana TV9 News.